computers can be taken down. And unfortunately, the Pentagon is basically running the government, and they've got the power of, the numbers of those in the armies and the and the police force, of course. So, I mean, as far as what they're doing, Federal Reserve, I mean, I'm not even too sure, but I just know that, they're well aware of the collapsing of this and that. And it's not that they're collapsing, they're taking it to a whole nother level. And most things are false flags, just like 9/11, just like these wars. And that's part of the military-industrial complex, is to create like the theater in these scenarios and that we're hooked into. And then we have to, rely on our leaders to get us out of it. But it's all orchestrated. And it's all these scenarios are to keep us in fear and for them to come along with a better system and a new way of doing things that might seem helpful when really they set it all up so that we'd fall into this pit.
So what's some of the things that we can do to start starving the beast? Because in my mind, and I could be wrong, but in my mind, I think this is the only way to fight this is by stop feeding the beast, because we are the ones who are feeding it. So
yeah, I mean, I really think that we need to take a huge stand by pulling our powers away from whatever they're giving us right now that we might enjoy or like. And I mean, we got to stop eating the snacks that they give us and spit them back out. It's like, I think we should refuse to pay our taxes, everybody in America, all at once, and because they can't arrest us all at the same time. And I've heard other people say this before. I mean, our tax dollars are going into these programs and these agendas, so why the hell should we pay them? Doing stuff like that, it's different than going out on the streets and protesting. It's like we're just doing it from the comfort of our own homes, and we're saying enough already. I mean, even things like, a big strike where parents refuse to send their children to school. They can't, something that we all decide to do something that doesn't involve us being out in the streets, looting and getting all angry and being susceptible to being shot. Let's just all agree to do something that says, we're not going to feed the system anymore. We don't agree with it. It's dangerous, and we're not going to show up. We're not going to show up with our money, and we're not going to take our kids to the things you expect us to take them to, and we're all just going to say no. So our job is educating the public. That's how we're going to stop feeding the beast. But the problem is, as you all know, a lot of people just kind of like roll their eyes, and until it hits home, they're not going to really believe it. So I think the chemtrails is a really important point, because a lot of people are getting sick. It's obvious that the skies are filled with this stuff. Then there's scientists and doctors and physicists who are, testing these particles or these elements and revealing what these things are. And I think if people say, why would they do that? That first question, why, is the beginning to their awakening. And so I think, the education of on that level is extremely important. Same with the TSA scanners, and just really having experts in their field, really stand up and say, these are the results that we're getting, and to put themselves out there. I mean, I'll speak on their behalf, but the thing is, they kill scientists. They killed a bunch of scientists that were connected to revealing stuff about the BP oil spill. And this is the hard part. And it's like, they can, death doesn't really cure anything because there's reincarnation. But, the more that people do everything at once, the least capable they are of taking it all down at once. They can only pick and target different people here and there. But the truth movement's getting so loud that they can't kill all of us, but the mainstream world, the world that thinks the government is looking out for us and religion is really helping us, be spiritual beings, these sleepwalkers are the ones that we need to really deal with. Because we can't just, shake sticks and beat on Godzilla. I mean, we got to deal with the people.
Well, I've kind of found that trying to waking somebody up forcibly is not very easy to do. A person doesn't really wake up until they're ready to wake up, from what my experience. And I kind of see that all the crap that the whatever you want to call them, the dark side, the cabal, the military industrial complex, whatever you want to call them. There's 1,000 names, the Bilderbergs, whatever. I kind of see the agendas that they're putting forth are becoming so atrocious now that it's going to start being, it's becoming time for everybody to really start waking up. And I'm seeing people that are actually starting to wake up and ask those questions. What the hell are they doing?
Exactly. You don't want to, yeah, it's like everybody's going to manifest their own wake-up calls. That's part of like our agreements when we come into this planet, sort of how, that's what our astrological chart reveals, how are we unfolding in this drama? And when are we going to have that moment of understanding and, how much are we being controlled? I mean, it all kind of shows in one's chart. And so, simply educating people and having them ask these questions is the best way, because then they can start to do their research, answer the questions for themselves. And, so it's hard to want to be aggressive and really sit people down. But I mean, when I do these conferences, it's just here's the info now, and people have stories. I mean, people are waiting. I mean, a lot of times they're relieved that people are speaking about this because they don't have a voice themselves, or they're just so curious. But yeah, I mean, just as long as they can ask why, and experts in their field that are respectable and credible, can start really just giving them the proof, because everybody needs proof.
Right.
Yeah. There's, as far as chemtrails, there's one film that I would say, if you don't believe what we're saying, just go and watch What the Hell Are They Spraying, which we have it in our video links.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on our website.
What's your website?
It's www.conscious-tv.com.
Yeah, it's on the video links page. We've got quite a few good shows on there, very informative stuff. So
Awesome.
if you get in there, you might be lost for 8 or 10 hours. So
Yeah. In that film, What the Hell Are They Spraying? They have the hard scientists. It's irrefutable. If someone says that's BS, then obviously they just don't want to, they just don't want to see the purple elephant in the room.
they're in complete denial if they don't say, wow, they really are doing something.
It's more like senile, I would call it.
I think we should have an in-home strike when everybody refuses to go outside of their house because of the spraying, and just nobody shows up to work, no kids end up going to school, and we turn, we load up on groceries and we just take a week off and say we're not leaving, we're all going to just stay home, and it's just
it'd be nice to do.
Speaking of, the other thing is that I find very important now is to start becoming self-sustained little by little. Especially for those of us who live in cities.
right.
Yeah. So
it's a little rough to do in the city, especially the larger metropolitan areas. It's a little rough to work on the self-sustaining stuff. But if you're if you've got any kind of yard at all, grow some tomatoes. Grow something. Grow something.
But in the apartment, like for myself, just starting to grow little vegetables and stuff like that in little pots, little by little. It's something, You gotta start pulling away from the beast little by little.
Right, and they're going to start creating laws to make whatever alternative choices that we're making even more difficult, and that's when the people have to fight back and refuse to, put up with it. We need a lot of assistance. There's just a lot of work to do in the next year or two.
Yeah,
it
definitely
no doubt
is.
About it.
Have you gotten any insight from your practices or any kind of contact of how things are turning up for us? What's your view of the future?
Well, I really support the positive timeline. My whole deal is to promote, to talk about, to empower the positive timeline. And it's really just kind of everything that we've discussed. And as far as the future, this is going to be a really tough year or two ahead. But this is really going to be when people, like you said, kind of go into shock. Like, what the hell does that mean? It's like the forces that we think are protecting us, when people realize that they aren't protecting us and they're doing the opposite, they're actually poisoning us, harming us. That anger and rage, that's sort of like Kali, that's part of the goddess energy is that rage, that wrath. And that, when people really do understand what's happening, the collective rage can be such that, the upheaval and revolution that results can overthrow all of this. And, as long as people are in the dark, and they're not getting angry and they're not waking up, a lot is going to accelerate and come out of the woodwork and end up being our new society and our new world. So this is why it's really important in the next year that those who have insights and have, this kind of information are as loud as they possibly can be about it, because we're working with numbers. It's a numbers game. The more conscious beings there are, over a certain number, the ripple effect is profound. Like 144,000 is that sort of prophesized number, and that's not that many. And that in that collective sort of awareness, can activate a ripple effect. It's kind of similar with like a human body that is healthy enough and strong enough to fight off the virus that's attacking it. But it's, right now we're kind of on the cusp where we're kind of like being pulled under, and we're just, it's like right now we're just kind of laying in bed with a thermometer in our mouth going, okay, how do we get over this? And it's not always about the drug we take or the quick fix. A lot of it's about the soul work. A lot of it's about just really going inward and taking one's own frequencies to the next level. And, eating correctly, doing everything one possibly can to raise their frequencies. And really, the chakras get all clouded up and clogged up when we're not good people. I mean, it's really important to just be a good person, live by the golden rule, don't harm others. It's not about learning some religious book or having some new age awareness. It's just about being a good person, eating well, taking care of yourself, and, realizing that the majority of our own bodies heal ourselves when we're rising to the occasion of our own healing, and our perceptions and our beliefs and our lifestyles are supporting our healing process. And, how can we recover from a flu if we're smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol and giving everybody the finger and being angry and selling ourselves to the disease and saying, okay, we're just going to die and screw everybody? It's like, we know how things thrive, negative energies thrive in a human body. Same laws, like I said, I'm not trying to be redundant, apply to the planet. So, it just kind of goes back to that. So the speed in which we do that and how much we can accelerate that process is what determines our future. And so, there can be predictions and this and that, but, predictions only go so far. That's like a weather forecast. But, I think people are really just going to start to celebrate, start to really just, take on the joyful approach, the positive approach, and also know where to direct the anger and passion into stopping, the feeding of the beast. And if both forces, the anger and rage at what they're doing to us, can be matched with joy and awakening and just unity and just celebration, then we're kind of like, giving the antidote to the poison while also stepping into an empowered immune system that is capable of wiping out germs and attacks. Yep. So everybody's got to do that. And each of us, it's like, people are like, what should I do? What should I do? It's like, just do that.
Yeah, that's true.
I talk to Gaia every day. I tell her how much I love her and ask her to see through my eyes. I say, see through my eyes. See the world the way I see it, Gaia, or Sophia. I call her Sophia. I say, see the world the way through my eyes. You don't have eyes of your own, so use mine. Look out at what I see in the world, because what I see in the world are things that need to be addressed. And she hears me. I sense it, and I know she hears me. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we all have Sophia within us, and she's I've been identified through quantum access and through hidden documents and all sorts of things that, I carry this force very strongly, and it's so amazing to hear that, that you understand what it means to truly connect to the mother planet and to give your energy to her, because that is who you really are. I mean, that's the most true connection we have to the mother. And we want to surrender to that. And Jay's really great at delivering that message. And John Lash, those are my allies right there. They really do get the Sophia story. And it's just very important people connect with her because, supposedly she took, this is in Akashic Records as well, the life of Mary Magdalene and as an embodied, because as personified in a physical form, as far as, living as a force of nature, to plant certain seeds and to do specific work. So I'm kind of a part of that lineage. I'm having 7 Venuses and 7 Plutos in my chart. So on a feminine level, I just, really, as a young child, even recalled giving myself and just saying, use my body. And I don't think I even had to declare it because it was already in my chart. So that's kind of the mentality I have. Use my body as a vessel. Use it and work through it. Because what else is, what that's what my body's here for. I don't want anything else kind of in charge. It's not about me. It's about us. It's a unified field. So I gave myself to this probably many, many, many lifetimes ago, whether